Today I'm going to be discussing a very exciting tool in the algo trading space that allows us to take prop firm challenges and recover the fee if the challenge fails. It's called Prop EA. It's a genius piece of software, and today I'm going to explain the concept, show how I'll be using this to pass an FTMO prop firm challenge. I'll include all the setup files, so let's take a look at that. So I'm on the Prop EA website now. It's a very professional, well put together website immediately, as we can see, and it does explain it, but I'll think the easiest way to explain the concept here is to go to its calculator. I'm going to be using it to pass a two-phase FTMO challenge. The account size is going to be 10K. The costs, it's actually 185, but I got a reduced cost of 105 just because they were running a promo when I went to buy. So I just want to recover that cost, so I'll put that in. It's a simple challenge that is 10% target, 10% drawdown. And the second phase is 10% drawdown, 5% target. I don't think the trading mode really matters so much for the size. And so it's now calculating that we need a live account of 231. So to explain how this works, usually you just have the prop firm account, right? It passes or fails, and you have to pay again if it fails. In this case, what you need is you also need a live account, and you use this calculator to tell you how much funds you need in that live account. So in this case, 231. And I will be using Eightcap for my live account. It's one of the best brokers we use in the Academy. Let's just take a quick look at their website. On our trusted brokers page, we've got the Eightcap here. So there's a review I'd encourage you checking out. In order to use the Prop EA, you really do need a broker with low fees and spreads so that the maths will work well. And you also always have to make sure that the broker is regulated. So this is very important to make sure you're going to be able to withdraw your profits if the account fails and use this to buy another challenge. And now what happens is we have the same EA with a different trading mode installed on each of these accounts, and it talks to each other essentially. And if you place a position on the prop firm account, it places the appropriately sized hedge position on the live account. And what this then means, as it's showing here for scenario one, if you lose on the prop firm account, so if you hit the 10% drawdown, well, your actual live account is going to have 105 profit, and therefore you've recovered the cost. You can just withdraw that and try again. And so that's fantastic. So that's the main concept there. And as you can see, if we take that then further, so we may fail that, withdraw and pass, and we can do that as many times as we want for the first phase. Second phase round, let's say we actually pass it. You know, we've had a few failed attempts, we've recovered the fees, and now we pass it. We're going to have 105 loss on the live account, but now we're up 1,000 here and we move on to the next phase. If we then lose the next phase, well, we now make 210, but 105 has already been lost. And so we've got back our 105 and we just go back to the start. If we then pass the final challenge, well, we've cost us another 105, and it's saying instead of your initial 105 to cost to get funded, it's 231. So it'll cost you slightly more when you eventually do pass, but it's a far more controlled way of knowing the cost of the prop account that you're going to get funded with. Let's now take a look at the EA setup. I've got the prop EA installed here. So I've got the 10K FTMO challenge on my VPS, and I've also got the $250 hedge account, slightly more than the 231. And so basically we can see here, this is the same expert advisor on both the hedge and the live, but they're actually running two different trading modes. So there's just an option in the beginning to say it's either the prop or the slave. And so we can see straight away, we've got the version, it's telling us that it's connected and working. We can see some information here. And yeah, I just made a small mistake, which is why that's slightly less than the 10K, and that is 250. But basically they're running now. So we can see that in this case, it's placed the sell order and it's placed the opposite buy order of a different size. And so really we can see that if this does go up $1,000, then this will go down 105 and all will be good. And so we can see that it confirms a few things. It's telling us we've got sufficient margins, the account currencies are the same, and also important to make sure that your EA is trading one symbol and they're both the same symbol. So it's confirming that as well. In terms of the settings, basically you can see here I'm in prop mode. Some of these don't really matter. You put in what verification level you're at. So I'm on the first phase just now, target of 1,000, daily loss 500, target of 1,000, and that and the cost, and that obviously lets it know what size to put on a hedge account. So what strategy does this actually trade? Well, what it trades is, you can see here, it's got got this trade mode, random, and it's actually got 4 options here. We've got manual, random, buy or sell, right? So you've got the choice of, if you choose random, which is the default, it's either going to buy or it's going to sell randomly every 24 hours if there's not a trade open. It's basically looking to pass the challenge in that one trade, really. You can tweak those settings, but that's typically how it does it. And so if it then passes on that one trade, what's obviously lost on the hedge count, but you've paid the extra to pass the challenge, or whether it be 1 or 2 phase. That's random. You could also then have a slightly more control with an edge. You could choose a market that has a buy or a sell kind of bias. For example, gold would have a buy bias, and you can then tell it to do the same thing, but randomly each day if there's not a trade open, you can only do buy orders or only do sell orders. And there's this 4th option, which is manual trading. That can be used 2 ways. You can either place the trade manually just on the terminal. So you just go onto MT4 or MT5 and just look at the charts and just go, right, I think it's better to buy or better to sell. That will work. Or you can also install another expert advisor that places a trade for you with manual mode, so that when that expert advisor places the trade, the prop EA will trade on the hedge count. And so in this case, I'm actually just going to stick with the default, which is random, and that's what I'm going to be using. 2 kind of just simple warnings about this. I probably recommend first time you use this, do it on a small prop firm account and get the process, see how it goes. And then as you become more confident and familiar and make sure you've not done a mistake or anything like that, then you could probably scale as time goes. So I probably would start a small one, and then once you've done it a couple of times, then go for the bigger one, just to make sure you don't make a mistake. And make sure to use this only on prop firms with a static drawdown rather than a trailing drawdown. That's very important. The reason that's important is I actually initially just bought a challenge that had a trailing drawdown, and as I went through the settings, I realized, this could cause problems, and the developer confirmed that. It's clear in the documentation, but it's still a mistake that could be made. And I believe that it would be possible in that case, just because of the inner workings, that you could actually end up in a scenario where you lose on both the prop challenge and the money in the hedge count. So definitely make sure you read the documentation and stick to simple rules with a fixed drawdown rather than trailing one. One other thing to just mention is that it's important to put the trading days into the min trading days. So FTMO has a min trading day of 4, and I believe what's going to happen is, if once it passes, it's a bit random at the moment. So if it passes, then what it's going to do is it's going to place 4 small trades, and then that satisfies the minimum trading day rule. I'll be keeping track of this. I'll put the tracking links in the description. And I'll obviously make a future video when this passes, which I hope is going to be in a short period of time, which I'll explain now why that is. Why is this so great, really? I've been trading prop firms for a long time now, and I've passed lots of challenges, and I put a summary here. So I'll put this link in the description. I'd encourage anyone to check it out. And there's also includes some links to some of, some key videos for learning how to use the strategy generators to get consistent profits. But what I want to draw attention to here is that I've got summaries of all the, lots of the challenges even that I've passed. So here's an FTMO one, and you can see my approach isn't to pass them fast. It's actually to just set my risk low and let the probabilities play out. This has taken me 5 months or something like that to hit this 10% target, and lots of trades. Again, this one 4 months, and it takes a while. The risk is low. This one 6 months. This one, it's 400 trades. I think that one was like a year, because I had a good run, and then I had a big kind of prolonged drawdown that then recovered. This one's a bit smoother, but again, it's still lots and lots of trades. So they take a long time to pass using the typical approach of setting your risk low and not wanting to lose that fee. Now, with this new method, with a prop EA, what I'm now able to do is I'm able to set my risk much higher and either pass or fail. But even if I do fail a few times, I'm still going to be aiming to either pass or fail within a week or 2. And I would estimate it's probably more like 4 to 6 weeks maximum to actually finally pass a challenge, even if I fail it a few times. And then I know I've got that fixed cost on it. And so I'm going to start getting funded accounts much faster using this method, which is great. For anyone interested in learning how to then continue to trade, this app is going to allow you to, if you use the default modes, it's not really got an edge in the market. So it's going to allow you to pass challenges for a fixed fee, as explained. but it's not really going to let you then continue on and have a genuine edge in the market. So if you trade your risk right, you're going to be able to continue a profit over the long term. So for anyone interested in learning how to trade effectively using EA Studio, then I'd highly recommend checking out that link in the description to the forum topic that I just showed. There's good examples of challenges being passed. I also recently passed 100k FTMO and I've had payouts for that. EA Studio also provides a full functionality 15-day free trial. As I said, there will be a follow-up video very soon to show the results. For VIP users, I'll actually save the settings I've used for these EAs, and that'll be provided in the download link on Discord. There's also a link for the VIP club sign up in the description. If anyone's interested in accelerating the path to profits, then check that out. And also consider checking out this video that shows me withdrawing profits from my 100k funded FTMO account. Trade safe and bye for now.